Viktor Frankl survived the Nazi concentration camps and later wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. One of his central observations was simple, yet devastatingly profound. The people who had something to hope for, something that gave their suffering meaning, were far more likely to endure till the end. Hope didn't remove suffering, it gave it a horizon. Frankl wasn't writing theology, but his insight cut close to the biblical imagination. Human beings are not sustained merely by information and facts and optimism. We are sustained by meaning, by a story large enough to locate our pain, our obedience, and our future. And that brings us to the question of the end times. For many Christians, eschatology has either become a curiosity or a source of anxiety. Charts, timelines, speculation, or on the other extreme, avoidance, as if the biblical material about the future was either too difficult or too dangerous to take seriously. But that is not how the Bible itself treats this kind of literature. John Walton, the longtime professor at Wheaton College, argued that biblical prophecy was not primarily written to satisfy curiosity about the distant future. It was written to shape how God's people lived in their present circumstances. Or to say it another way, biblical prophecy is less about prediction and more about formation. It is less about decoding and more about allegiance. When the prophets spoke of the day of the Lord, or when Jesus spoke of the coming kingdom, or when Revelation was read aloud to persecuted churches, the question was never, can you put this on a chart? The question was, in light of this future that we know is coming, how will you live? Biblical eschatology was meant to produce endurance, faithfulness, courage, and hope. The same quality Frankl observed as essential for survival in extreme suffering. In a time marked by cultural instability, political anxiety, spiritual fatigue, Christians do not need less theology of the end times. We need a better one that rests in Christ and resists sensationalism, one that refuses escapism, one that anchors hope not in control or certainty, but in the faithfulness of God. This class is an invitation to read the Bible's end times material the way it was meant to be read. Historically grounded, theologically serious, and pastoral in aim. Not focused on speculation, but rather focused on formation. If hope shapes endurance, then how we understand the future matters. Not so we can predict what comes next, but so that we can live faithfully where we are now. That is what our course is going to be about, and that's why I want you to join us in our class this year.